Hey, good morning. Welcome, everybody, once again to my daily show that I come in here and do, which is called Adventures in Digital Marketing. My name is Rob, in case we haven't met before. I'm the one who is popping up here all the time talking about all kinds of stuff related to online business and those kinds of things. And I wanted to come in here and talk to you a little bit about my story this morning. Hopefully that will, be interesting maybe. I always like to hear people's stories myself. So wanted to come in here and, talk a little bit about this stuff. But like I said, in case we haven't met before, I'm a web designer and I'm a developer. I'm obsessed with digital marketing, and my thing is I help people to maximize their tools, the things that they do online, the technology, and I build all that stuff for them to help them to do business better online. And I work with all kinds of clients across the spectrum, big clients, little clients, and everything across the spectrum. So I'm going to take my glasses off for this because it keeps reflecting in this ring light. But I wanted to come on here and tell you a little bit about my story this morning. And this may or may not be all that interesting to you, but I wanted to do this because, like I said, I like to hear people's stories when they're telling me about how they got to where they are and what they're doing and those kinds of things. Maybe it'll give you a little bit of insight into whether, coming and listening to this stuff, whether it's on my podcast or on my blog or at robor.net, or any of those things will make any difference, or be helpful for you. So just to kind of give you a little bit of backstory, I graduated from Florida State in 2000. I had a degree in psychology, and I had no idea what I was going to do for my career. While I was finishing up my degree at Florida State, I had a complete shift in terms of what I wanted to study, what I wanted to do with my life. That's probably another story for another day, but I went into college thinking I was going to be this one thing. My senior year, I figured out that was not where I was going to go. That was not going to be the direction of my life, so I decided that I was going to do something else. So after I graduated from FSU, I had a degree in psychology. All I knew was that I just wanted to be done with school. I wanted to be, I wanted to graduate. I was tired of being in school. I didn't want to I was tired of classes and all of that stuff. And I was like, man, I just got to get out of here and move on to the next chapter of my life. I came to Florida State and I was tired of Tallahassee. I just wanted to get out. That was kind of my main objective. And here I am 20 years later, and I'm still here. But anyway, so I graduated from Florida State with a degree in psychology, and I was looking high and low trying to figure out where I was going to work. And I ended up getting a job in sales that kind of started the path for me for the next several years. I started working in sales because that was really, at that point in time, that was really all my degree had qualified me for. I wasn't going to grad school anytime soon, even though I was kind of kicking around that idea. So I had to figure out a way to start making money. And I started working in sales, and ironically enough, I met my wife at the first place that I worked at right after I graduated. I met her within probably a month of graduating from FSU. I graduated in April of 2000, and then I met Paige in May, I believe, and we've been together ever since. But anyway, so I started working in sales, and I was good at it. And I did really well for a while, and I started climbing the rungs of the career ladder in sales. I started working doing retail sales, and then I quickly got into doing business to business sales. And the more that I ascended this ladder, the more that I realized I absolutely hated doing what I was doing. And by September not September, August of 2003, Paige and I were married, and now I have a family, and I'm trying to figure out what in the heck I'm going to do. I'm like, this is totally new to me. I've got to figure out a way to provide for a family, even though it was just me and my wife. And so I was like, I got to figure out a way to get out of this sales thing. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've got to figure out a way to get out of it, because I felt stuck. I felt like there was just, I was a square peg in a round hole. And so I was working in sales for doing business development for UPS. And I started to run into a lot of different internet businesses, which were starting to take off around this time. And I want to say this is probably 2005, 2006. My daughter had just been born, and she's getting ready to be 16 in a couple months. So this is a while ago, but I felt this pressure to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I had to be a provider, and I had to figure out a way that I was going to, not only, earn a living doing sales, but also to figure out what else I was going to do, because I wasn't sure about a lot of things, but the only thing that I was really sure about at that time was I was not going to spend my career working in sales. That was just kind of a deal breaker and completely off the table. It was not going to do that. And I had to figure something out. So, Peyton was born in April of 2005, and the pressure increased all the more. I'm like, I hate what I'm doing. I can't do this. Every day was, just a drudgery for me. It was like, I don't know if you can relate, but you wake up on Monday morning and you absolutely hate what you do. You don't want to hear the things that your coworkers have to say. You don't want anything to do with it. It was just, you were putting in your time and trying to figure out how to keep going long enough until you could figure out something else. And that was really my situation. And during that time, like I said, I had learned about the people that were doing business online, and saw a lot of different e-commerce businesses. And I was fascinated. It was one of those things that I was completely blown away by seeing these tiny little mom and pop businesses that were, selling, in the UPS language, it was, they were shipping 15, 20, 50, 150 different orders per day. The volume for these guys was great. That was why I was involved with them. So it was just an amazing kind of situation, and the lights started coming on for me. I'm like, man, if these people can do this, so can I. Because one of the things that I had done as a kid was I was very much into programming and computers when I was young, and I kind of got away from that when I got into sports, but it had always been something that kind of stuck in the back of my mind. I really enjoyed doing that. I really enjoyed building things and creating and being creative. And so one thing led to another, and I started getting into programming again, and I started getting into creation and being serious about it. I've been kind of dabbling with it for a couple of years by that point, but I just really had decided that I was going to take it very seriously and take it to the next level, and found myself at a crossroads where it's like, I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. I can't do this sales thing anymore. I've got to get out. The pressure was ridiculous. One of the things that really kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back was we were called on to a 6 a.m. conference call because we were not meeting our numbers, to make a long story short. And this is around 2007, 2008. And unless you've been living under a rock, you knew that we were sitting right there on the precipice of a massive economic calamity, worldwide, I guess is how it eventually worked out. But we were starting to see what was happening with, our businesses, that because their volume, the volume that they were, used to shipping was starting to decrease. So, for those of us who were not meeting our numbers, we got called into a 6 a.m. conference call meeting, that was basically a punishment. We were punished because, for things that were not anything that, were controlled by us, we had to be on there and give this, summary or whatever it was. I don't remember what the specifics of the call were, but, talking about our plans for how we were going to meet our numbers and that kind of stuff. And I was like, I knew at that point there was just no way that I was ever going to be able to continue with them. So, I decided, I'm like, I got to take this seriously. I'm going to take the next step and go to, take the next step in my career and just transition to doing my web design and web development stuff full time. I had seen the businesses that are doing it, and I did. I completely transitioned from somebody who was a Florida State graduate doing sales to somebody who was a Florida State graduate that had become a completely self-taught web developer. And I had some rough starts at the beginning. There were some rough patches, but I was always looking for and trying to figure out alternative ways to make money online. I knew that it could be done, but I didn't know how it was all going to work out. So, I remember my wife and I don't even know if we were married at this time, but my wife and I we used to go to Borders Bookstore on Appalachia Parkway, and for the locals, y'all will know where that is. But Borders Bookstore is no longer in business, but they had a cafe, and we would go and sit in there and read. And one of the things that I noticed that I was always going back to were the how to start a business, and here are some ways to do to build your own business. Maybe it's starting a coffee shop or different kinds of businesses, and it always was something that was really a big deal to me. So the thing was, though, I was like, if I'm going to find any kind of satisfaction and pride in the work that I do, then I've got to get out. And so I made the transition from working in sales to doing web design and development full time, and it was a really challenging transition, not without many hiccups. But here I am, so many years later, and I've been doing it for years, and I love what I do. I love the work that I get to do. I love the people that I get to work with, and I love the projects that I get to work on. And it seems like in this world, there's a much more realistic understanding of how work gets done, and so anyway, that's really it. I just wanted to share a little bit of my story and how I got to where I got to. I was a young dad, trying to figure out how to get the bills paid. I was struggling through all of those things. I was struggling through, making sure that we had our power bill paid, and that, we were able to, take care of ourselves. And it was really freaking hard at that time to be able to do that. And there were lots of times where, my anxiety would be through the roof because I didn't know what I was going to do to take the next step, to be able to provide for my family, or if my marriage was even going to be able to last, because it was so difficult for me. And, thankfully, things fell into place with, the web design and development track that I found myself on. And I was, very much into digital marketing and online business. And if you read my story that I have on my blog, it gives you more details about all of those things. But, it really is just a matter of, figuring out how to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and, making progress throughout, and trying to figure out where you fit. It's really not always as easy as it seems to be. So anyway, that's what I just wanted to share. That's my story with you guys, so that, maybe you're in the same situation, or a similar situation, and you're struggling, and you need somebody that can relate to where you are, and where you want to go, and to know that you can you can do it yourself. I mean, that's really kind of the most important part of all of this. And I know for me, I relate to people that are just a couple steps ahead of me. It's hard for me to relate to people like Russell Brunson who are making $1 million a month, right? It's much easier for me to relate to people that are a few steps down the road beyond me, who can help me to get to where they are as far as what they're trying to do. So since that time, I've been able to be very successful in my business. My business has, provided so much for my family, provided so much, just in terms of satisfaction and being able to do the things that I love. And it's not easy. It's, it's still work, but I'm in a much better place in terms of, the things that I'm doing, the people that I get to work with today, and the projects that I work on. So I'm very in a much better place now than I was 15 years ago when I got started with all this stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to share a little bit about that so you guys can get to know me, because the whole reason that I'm doing this stuff is to build relationships and build connections with you guys. I want you guys to get to know who I am, where I'm coming from, and hopefully something that you hear or see on these shows will be something that maybe inspire you or motivate you, or to just encourage you that you have the ability to make it through. If you're feeling stuck, know that I was stuck. If you're feeling like you're caught between a rock and a hard place, I'm somebody who's been there, and I've felt that, and I know what it feels like, and I know how much it sucks. And so, everything's not peaches and cream these days. Life is life, and especially in 2021 with coronavirus and all of the craziness that's going on in our world. But I just wanted, like I said, to be able to tell you a little bit about me, and hopefully something, we'll get to know each other better through all of this stuff. So anyway, that's what I've got for you guys. So for those that have been with me live, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. For those of you who catch this on the replay, hit me up with a hashtag replay. Let me know where you're watching from. I would really love to continue to connect with you guys, continue to engage, so that I can get to know you, you can get to know me, and we can help each other as we walk down this path into digital marketing mastery, which is what we're all trying to do, right? So anyway, you guys have a fantastic day. We'll talk to you later.